Let's explore some of the world's most terrifying haunted locations. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado, the inspiration for The Shining, is said to have ghostly apparitions of past guests wandering its halls. Then there's the Eastern State Penitentiary, where prisoners were kept in solitary confinement. Many claim to hear eerie whispers and footsteps in the abandoned cells. In Scotland, the Edinburgh vaults are infamous for shadowy figures and sudden chills, but perhaps the most terrifying is Japan's Aokigahara Forest, also known as the Self-Offing Forest, where visitors report seeing restless spirits. These places remind us that some locations may never truly rest in peace. A woman who offed her parents and hid their bodies in makeshift tombs for 4 years has been sentenced for minimum of 36 years in prison. 36-year-old Virginia McCullough had beaten and dabbed her mother, Lois McCullough, multiple times, and her father, John McCullough, was rugged to the afterlife in their house in Chelmsford, England. Virginia went on a £150,000 spending spree with her parents' money, including using £22,000 on a gambling spree. One Direction star Liam Payne died at the age of 31 after reportedly falling from a hotel room in Buenos Aires, Argentina. According to multiple witnesses cited by TMZ, Payne fell from the balcony of his room at the Casa Sur Palmero Hotel shortly after 5 p.m. on Wednesday evening, October 16, 2024. Charlie Stevens left his wife of 40 years to marry his co-worker, Kirsten A. Stevens. In 2014, Kirsten gambled away his life savings and later offed him to collect his life insurance. During the investigation, Kirsten admitted to having an affair. Those close to the couple told investigators they had overheard her saying her husband was worth more to her dead than alive. Despite being offered a plea deal to avoid a life sentence, Kirsten took a final risk and opted for a jury trial. She was found guilty of first-degree offing and armed criminal action, receiving a sentence of life without parole. Bob Lee was an American businessman and software engineer who was best known for helping to create the financial service called Cash App. On April 4, 2023, Lee was fatally stabbed in the Rincon Hill neighborhood of San Francisco. On April 13th, the San Francisco Police Department arrested 38-year-old Nima Momeni of Emeryville for the murder of Lee. Momeni had been working in the technology industry since 2005 and allegedly knew Lee. A father was arrested after he allegedly shot and offed a man who was in a vehicle with his missing 14-year-old daughter. 36-year-old Aaron Spencer reported to the police that his daughter was missing. As police were on their way to Spencer's home, Spencer found his daughter in a vehicle with 67-year-old Michael Fosler, according to Lonoke County Sheriff's Office's press release. Spencer then allegedly shot and offed Fosler after a confrontation between the two men arose. Police arrested Spencer on a preliminary charge of first-degree offing, a Class Y felony, and he was booked into the Lonoke County Detention Center before being released the next day after posting bail. Class Y felonies are typically a sentence of at least 10 years to no more than 40 years, or life in prison. 8-year-old Breland was born a healthy, happy baby, but suffered brain damage after someone kissed her on the mouth when she was just 2 days old. The person who kissed her had a cold sore, leading to Breland contracting HSV encephalitis. Because her immune system was still developing, the virus caused brain damage as the encephalitis spread. This illness is extremely rare, affecting only 1 in 500,000 individuals each year. While Breland is faring better than expected, given the extent of her brain damage, she is sadly not expected to live into adulthood. The Houston resident who held the record of being the oldest living person in the USA has died at age 115. Elizabeth Francis died on October 22, 2024, while surrounded by her family. Francis died in the Houston home she lived in with her 95-year-old daughter, Dorothy Williams, and her granddaughter. Federal investigators obtained iCloud records of Lil Durk advising an associate in his alleged offing plot. Lil Durk allegedly said, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." Despite this warning, the associate booked the flights using a credit card linked to Lil Durk and OTF. In a 1995 interview, Tupac was asked if he believed Diddy was involved in the shooting against him. On November 30th, 1994, Tupac was shot 5 times during a robbery at Quad Studios in Times Square. In an April 1995 interview with Vibe magazine, he alleged that Sean Diddy Combs was the mastermind behind the incident. 1 year later, Tupac passed away on September 13, 1996, 6 days after being shot 4 times in the chest by a gunman in a white Cadillac at a stoplight in Las Vegas. Krista Pike, the youngest female on death row, attacked 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer on January 12, 1995, over jealousy. Alongside Tadarrell Shipp and Shadola Peterson, Pike lured Slemmer to an abandoned site, then beat, slashed, and fatally crushed her skull, keeping a piece as a trophy. Pike's display of the fragment led to her arrest and confession within 36 hours. Laura Wynnham's remains were discovered in May 2021 in Woking, England, more than 3 years after her death at 38. Struggling with schizophrenia and deafness, she had cut ties with her family. Her diary entries revealed her isolation and severe food shortages, with the last entry on November 1, 2017. Her family accused social services of failing to provide necessary support, leaving her abandoned and left to die. Here are the top 10 scary British urban legends that'll send chills down your spine. The Black Shuck, a ghostly black dog said to bring death to those who see it. The Highgate Vampire, a tall, dark figure stalking London's Highgate Cemetery. Spring-Heeled Jack, a leaping-clawed figure terrorizing Victorian England. Bloody Mary. Summon her at your own risk in front of a mirror. The Beast of Bodmin Moor, a giant mysterious cat roaming Cornwall. The Witches of Pendle Hill, 17th century witches haunting Lancashire. The Screaming Skull of Bettiscombe, a skull that screams if removed from its home. Pluckley Village, England's most haunted village. The Man in Grey, a ghost haunting London's Drury Lane Theatre. The Hellhounds of Dartmoor, ominous spectral beasts roaming the moors at night. Red Oak Cemetery holds chilling tales of people buried alive. In the 1800s, premature burial fears were real, and many graves had safety coffins with bells to alert if someone was buried by mistake. The tale of Anna Hawke is infamous. She was buried at Red Oak, only for gravediggers to later find scratch marks inside her coffin lid, indicating she'd awoken too late. Similar stories spread, causing a wave of fear. Legends say that on misty nights, you can hear faint scratching sounds from the graves, echoing the panic of those buried alive. Red Oak remains a haunting reminder of one of humanity's darkest fears. The abandoned Orlando Sun Resort holds dark secrets. Once a luxurious vacation spot, it's now a decaying, eerie structure covered in graffiti. Locals say it's haunted, with whispers of a gruesome past, including strange accidents and unexplained disappearances. Some claim they've seen shadowy figures moving through the shattered windows or heard disembodied voices echoing in empty halls. Rumors say a ghostly woman in white haunts the grounds, appearing suddenly, then vanishing without a trace. Enter at your own risk. The resort may look empty, but it feels like it's watching you. Crystal skulls are surrounded by dark mysteries. Here are 5 creepy secrets. Some believe these skulls hold ancient curses, bringing bad luck or even death to anyone who owns one. The Mitchell Hedges skull, discovered in Belize, is rumored to cause hallucinations and strange visions. Legends say crystal skulls were created by lost civilizations, holding knowledge of the world's end. Paranormal investigators report eerie energy from the skulls. Some say they hear whispers when nearby. A Mayan prophecy warns that if all 13 crystal skulls unite, it could either bring enlightenment or disaster. Are they ancient relics or something more sinister? Skinwalker Ranch is infamous for its terrifying paranormal encounters. Here's what makes it so eerie. Ranch workers report seeing shadowy figures, known as skinwalkers, lurking around at night. The ranch is also a hotbed for UFO sightings and strange lights moving across the sky. In one horrifying discovery, mutilated cattle were found with organs removed, without a single drop of blood. Scientists investigating the area have experienced equipment malfunctions, unexplainable illnesses, and even memory loss. Many believe Skinwalker Ranch is cursed, attracting forces beyond our understanding. Scary but life-saving, here are facts you need to know. If you smell something like rotten eggs suddenly, it could be a gas leak. Leave immediately. If you're being followed, head to a busy area and avoid going straight home. In a riptide, don't swim directly to shore. Swim parallel to escape the current. Always check the back seat of your car before getting in. If someone grabs you, drop to the ground, making yourself harder to carry. Keep a glass breaker in your car. Windows can jam during accidents. Simple actions, but they could be the difference between danger and survival. Scary but essential. Here are life-saving facts. If you feel like you're being watched, trust your instincts. Our brains are wired to sense danger. If you get lost in the woods, follow water downhill. It often leads to civilization. Locked in a trunk, pull the interior latch, or kick out the tail lights to signal for help. In a fire, stay low to avoid deadly smoke inhalation. Most victims suffocate before flames reach them. If caught in a crowd surge, keep your arms in front of you like a boxer to create breathing space. These tips may be scary, but they could mean the difference between life and death.